Do you feel like you want to eat more vegetables but don't know where to start? Or when you go out and look at the menu at food courts or restaurants, there's hardly any plant-based food. Even the vegetables are fried or dipped in thick, oily sauce. If that's how you feel, I feel you. In this video, I share what I eat in a regular day and 2 simple steps for you to get started. So let's start with the morning. First thing I eat is my beloved oats. And I really mean beloved. I don't just eat them because they're healthy, I also love the taste. And so here's the recipe, very simple. Overnight oats, Red Tractor or one of the other brands. I have 2 variants that I play around with. Either peanut butter or frozen acai, and either fresh milk or soy milk. So some days it might be peanut butter with soy milk, or acai with soy milk, or acai with fresh milk. You get the idea. So I use a high-speed blender to make the base, which is around 150 to 250 ml of soy or fresh milk, 1 large tablespoon of peanut butter, or 25 grams of frozen acai, and then I add flaxseed and chia seed, 1 teaspoon each, and then I blend it. Why do I blend? Because the peanut butter is very difficult to mix, and also when you blend flax and chia seed, it increases the nutrient absorption rate into your body much more than if you don't blend it. Now each time I make this, I make 8 portions for 4 days. I eat 1 portion a day and my 2 kids each eat half a portion a day. Now once I've blended it, then I add the overnight oats, 1 teaspoon of goji berry, and top off with 1 sliced banana. So the taste is creamy for peanut butter, but whether I use peanut butter or acai, both options are sweet because of the banana. Dump it into the fridge and the next morning just take out and eat. Now if you want the exact brand or details of the ingredients, I will link a full Google document with all of that so that you can refer to and try it yourself easily. So, I love my oats because it's tasty, has lots of fiber, and I like the cold and creamy texture. So seriously, you should go and try that out. Now in terms of snacks, I eat only 2 snacks throughout the day. The first is dark chocolate, and the second is sourdough sliced bread and peanut butter. I buy a loaf of sourdough and dump it into the freezer, and it can last like a month or so. And I just take out a slice, usually in the afternoon, spread peanut butter, and eat. I don't take any coffee, tea, or alcohol at all, although I've heard that some coffee is good, and so is tea. Now for my lunch and dinner, our helper at home cooks for us, and we have a 4-week menu with recipe and instructions planned that we just go through and cycle and repeat. And I'll share that in the description box below as well. Essentially, we eat a mix of chicken, fish, and plant-based options, mainly lentils and chickpeas. 2 of my favorite recipes are shashushka with chickpeas and lentil bolognese spaghetti, so instead of the usual beef. So I still do eat some meat, but on the whole, it's quite minimal, maybe 4 to 5 meals a week. We also eat mostly whole grain, so mainly brown rice, but a little bit of refined carbs like spaghetti every now and then. And in terms of vegetables, the simplest and probably the best vegetable dish is just to steam broccoli and cauliflower for most meals. And that's what we do. Now if I go out, then I have a problem, because most places just don't have good plant-based options at all. Now the lens with which I evaluate food is very simple. As far as possible, plant-based whole foods. Now this simple mantra is very helpful. Let me run you through some examples. So beef, seafood, innards, intestines, all out. All refined carbs are out. Your noodles, mee pok, kway teow, white rice, all out, because they aren't whole foods. And then there are many plant-based dishes that are actually not whole foods. So for example, tempura, potato chips, fried rice. These are plant-based, but they're fried and highly processed. Many Chinese vegetable dishes are just stir-fried, but still very oily and fall into a similar kind of category. So your favorite fried carrot cake, char kway teow, chicken rice, fried bee hoon, all out. Laksa, Hokkien mee, all refined noodles with coconut milk and processed sauces. So many places, even like Subway or Stuffed, they have quite good plant-based whole food options, but their sauces are still heavily processed. So no desserts as well. Onde, kueh lapis, bubble tea pearls, all of it is processed. And the worst of all, trust me, I used to work at Koi, is your milk tea. Because it's made with artificial creamer that clogs up your arteries. So if you want to drink bubble tea, at least take tea with fresh milk, which is actually quite healthy because the tea is typically brewed and quite pure. So basically, when I go out, I can eat almost nothing. So maybe the more helpful question is, what do I actually eat? Right, so really only a few options. I eat a lot of stuffed. Their vegetarian daily bowls, burritos, are solid. And sometimes Subway, but without any of the sauces. See, the thing about sauce is that it's trying to compete with the tasty alternatives of other food outlets. But the problem is that the base ingredients actually have quite a good taste. For instance, black beans or hummus for stuffed and chicken breast for Subway. But once you add the sauce, it becomes overwhelming. And you can't actually taste the original flavor of the whole food anymore. Over time, I've realized that I actually enjoy the food more as I stop adding sauces. And now if I add, it's way too strong. So let me encourage you by saying that our appetite for food can be retrained over time towards more healthy alternatives. Because people always say that I love my mala so much, I can't give up my bubble tea. Well, let me suggest that you can. And if you insist that you can't, then maybe that has become for you an addiction. Just like any other addiction that you should seriously take a look at. Addictions like computer games, sex, and drugs. Just because foods don't harm you as severely doesn't mean that it won't gradually compromise your health over time. Now, so other than stuffed and Subway, I love Guzman or any other kinds of Mexican food. I eat Green Dot, which is a vegetarian place, once in a while. And if I go to the hawker, the only thing I can eat there is Yong Tau Fu. And even then, I have to bring my own container to avoid the microplastics from their plastic bowls, which is another topic for another video. Nowadays, when I go out with friends, I either prepare my food at home and then I bring, or I just eat something small and then go home and eat my sourdough or proper meal. Now that's not to say that I don't indulge when I want to. I do, and my favorites are Peranakan food, Indian curries like butter chicken, or Mexican food, especially a well-done fried fish taco. But the point is that my baseline of eating is very, very firm. And when I indulge, it's very rarely, like maybe once every 2 weeks or a month. Now, the important thing here is really the baseline. So to me, if you have a strong baseline, you can afford to have more cheat days where you eat whatever you want, provided that those cheat days are not every other day, in which case it just means your baseline is terrible. So as a baseline, no flavored drinks at any meals, no coffee, C, Coke or anything of that sort, just water. If you have that along with a mostly plant-based diet, I'm pretty sure you will start seeing your health improving. Now, one of the questions people have asked me is this: since shifting to plant-based, what benefits have I experienced? Do I feel healthier, more energetic, fall sick less often? Well, unfortunately, I haven't really felt very different, and I suspect that might be because I already ate quite healthy previously. But there are two significant changes. One is, I've observed that my recovery time after exercise is very fast. So when I play football with my other friends in their 30s, they usually need like 2 or 3 days to recover, but for me, the next day I feel fresh and ready to go. And another change that goes without saying is bowel movement. Each day tends to be very smooth and super regular, probably because of all that fiber. Now hopefully this gives you a clearer picture and the details I've shared are helpful. And if you feel like, wow, this guy is crazy, it's too extreme, let me just say that I feel you, and it is extreme in relation to our toxic food culture today. But let me also encourage you by sharing 2 small steps that you can take that could make a huge difference in the long run. The first is to eat as much vegetables as you can. If you don't want to give up meat, I understand. But eating lots and lots of vegetables will make a big difference to your health. And in fact, even offset some of the damage the meat will do to your body. Wherever you go, order the veg first. If I eat out with friends, I order 2 to 3 different vegetables. So that's the first point. Eat as much vegetables as possible. Now the second step is just to make one small incremental change, and the simplest one I would recommend is your breakfast. Even if you go out and eat regular meals for lunch and dinner, at the very least, if you just change your breakfast to something like my oats recipe each morning, that is already a huge step that will reap massive rewards in the long run. If, for example, you eat a pork floss bread from the Bread Talk bakery each and every morning, you're basically replacing all that refined carbs and sugar with rolled oats, which is a big deal. A friend of mine who also eats oats every morning says that he eats a normal lunch and dinner diet, but he knows that he starts each morning right by getting all that fiber and omega acids or whatever into his body. Right, so that's all I have for today's video. I hope the details I've shared is helpful. And if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.